ancient Egypt, with temples and festivals dedicated to honoring him. As part of the Egyptian pantheon, Osiris held a significant place, his influence embedded deep in the spiritual fabric of the Nile civilization. Temples dedicated to Osiris, such as those in the cities of Abydos and Memphis, were grand and imposing structures. They served as sacred spaces where the mysteries of death and rebirth were celebrated, and the god's benevolent protection was invoked. These temples were not just places of worship, but also centers of learning where the teachings of Osiris were disseminated among the populace. The annual festivals of Osiris were grand affairs that engaged the entire community. One of the most significant was the Osiris Mysteries, which commemorated the god's death and resurrection. This festival was marked by elaborate rituals and ceremonies, including the reenactment of the Osiris myth, symbolizing the eternal cycle of life, death, and renewal. During the festival, the story of Osiris's death at the hands of Set and his subsequent resurrection by Isis was performed as a dramatic play. This ritual drama served to remind the participants of the cyclical nature of life and the promise of rebirth after death. The worship of Osiris was not confined to temples and festivals. It permeated everyday life, influencing the Egyptians' attitudes towards death and the afterlife. Osiris was invoked in funerary rites, and his symbols adorned tombs, offering protection and guidance to the departed souls on their journey to the afterlife. The worship of Osiris also had a profound impact on agriculture and fertility. As the god of vegetation and renewal, Osiris was associated with the annual flooding of the Nile, which brought life-giving silt to the fields. His resurrection was seen as a promise of the land's renewal and abundance. The cult of Osiris, with its promise of renewal and immortality, had a profound impact on the spiritual life of the ancient Egyptians. It offered them a sense of hope and continuity, a belief in the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth that continues to resonate with us today. The legacy of Osiris extended far beyond the borders of ancient Egypt. As a symbol of life, death, and rebirth, he was a figure of profound significance, not just within his native land, but also in neighboring cultures and religions. His influence seeped into the Mediterranean world, leaving a lasting impact on the Greek and Roman civilizations. Osiris was often identified with the Greek god Dionysus, the deity of wine, fertility, and ritual madness, due to their shared themes of death and resurrection. Similarly, in Roman culture, Osiris was associated with the agricultural god Saturn, symbolizing the cycle of sowing and reaping. But the reach of Osiris was not confined to the Mediterranean cultures alone. His themes of death, resurrection, and eternal life resonated with the spiritual beliefs of many other civilizations. The promise of life after death, the hope of renewal, these are universal human yearnings, shared across cultures and eras. Even today, the myth of Osiris continues to captivate us. His story is retold in literature, art, and popular culture, reminding us of our own mortality and the potential for rebirth. The cycle of life and death, of decay and renewal, is a pattern we see everywhere. In the changing seasons, in the rise and fall of civilizations, in our own personal growth and transformation. Osiris, in his death and resurrection, embodies this cycle. He represents the hope that out of death can come life, that out of darkness can come light, that out of endings can come new beginnings. He symbolizes the belief in the possibility of transformation, the faith in the power of renewal. As we reflect on the legacy of Osiris, we are reminded of these timeless truths. His story, his symbolism, his influence, all testify to the universal human desire for understanding, for meaning, for transcendence. Osiris's symbolism of death and rebirth resonates deeply with humanity's eternal quest for meaning and transcendence. His legacy endures, echoing through the ages, reminding us of the cyclical nature of life and the transformative power of rebirth. As we conclude our exploration of Osiris, we see a figure whose wisdom and symbolism continue to inspire. This ancient deity, central to the mythology of the Nile civilization, truly encapsulates the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. He was a god of many faces, a ruler of the afterlife, a symbol of fertility, and a beacon of hope and renewal. The story of Osiris, with its themes of betrayal, loss, love, and resurrection, resonates deeply with the human condition. His tragic demise at the hands of his brother Set and his subsequent resurrection through the tireless efforts of his wife Isis is a potent allegory of the inevitable struggles and rebirths we experience in our own lives. But the influence of Osiris extended far beyond the realm of myth and symbolism. His worship was widespread in ancient Egypt, with temples dedicated to him dotting the landscape of this ancient civilization. The annual festivals, particularly the Osiris Mysteries, were grand affairs that celebrated his death and resurrection, offering hope of renewal and the tantalizing prospect of immortality to his followers. And his legacy did not stop at the borders of Egypt. The figure of Osiris seeped into neighboring cultures and religions, his symbolism of death and rebirth resonating with humanity's eternal quest for meaning and transcendence. Even today, Osiris continues to captivate our collective imagination. His story, his symbolism, and his enduring significance remind us of the cyclical nature of life and the possibility of renewal, even in the face of the most profound losses. So as we step back from the enigmatic world of Osiris, we are left with a richer understanding of this ancient deity and his place in the vast tapestry of human myth and religion. His story is a testament to the enduring power of myth to convey timeless truths about the human experience.